Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Triforce podcast. Here is the third of our little bonus episodes for you, as we will no doubt be recovering from the New Year's celebrations and not able to record the podcast this week, or there's some reason why there is no podcast, but who knows? Please enjoy this fun, interesting podcast that we prepared in advance in case we weren't able to record over New Year, which has happened. Please enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Triforce bonus episode.
A Triforce big boner.
Hello.
Bonus. No? Okay.
How's your eye? Sips woke up this morning and his eye was bleeding.
I have a bleeding eye.
What?
And then I had to explain to him who Le Chiffre was. And he said, the number? And I was like, I don't know what apparently that is the French for it, or the cipher.
Le Chiffre.
But, yeah.
I didn't wake up with it. Yesterday, at some point during the day, I don't know when, I suffered from a burst blood vessel in the white of my eye. I've never had that before. But apparently it happens. And apparently there's nothing anybody could really do about it. It just clears up after a while.
Good Lord. Is it like routinely a drop of blood will roll down your face?
No, it's not like bleeding out of my eye. It's like inside the white of my eye. There's
so you've got like a red eye?
Yeah, like a very red eye. Like it looks like it's bleeding.
Good Lord.
Yeah, which is worrying. Like my wife was like, holy crap, like maybe you're having a stroke or something. I was like, no, I don't think, like I feel fine. Like there's no loss of vision or like, it doesn't feel...
This isn't the doctor's surgery. We're just interested.
Yeah, no. Well, like
if you are worried about it, you should go some.
I'm not.
I think it's fairly normal.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Did you like strain? Did you like lift a cupboard or do one of those dad things? Did you like
cupboard?
Did you have like a specifically like? Did you have like a big poo, like a really strenuous one? That can do it?
No, like no bigger than usual. I mean, mine are usually something to write home about, sort of thing. But like, no, like nothing out of the ordinary. I've never had anything like this before in my life. But
were you like hanging upside down on some chains or anything? Like
no, like I wasn't. Funnily enough, no, I wasn't doing my own Cirque du Soleil at home. No, I was just
that could do it.
Just doing normal stuff, just gaming, eating, just the usual.
This was inspiring because I didn't have a topic for today's thing where we decide what the best thing we do is.
Right.
But I thought, because Sip said I feel like a supervillain.
What about top 10 personal medical emergencies? We can all read. I know Flax has had a couple of scares.
This isn't top 10. This is the best. We have to decide together amongst ourselves what the best superhero or supervillain is.
It's got to be villains. We got to do villains.
Villains. Yeah. I don't know if I'm super familiar with all the villains. Like I'll try. Like I don't mind joining in, but like I'll just say like I'm not a big superhero
I'm sure
guy.
You will be familiar with these guys. Yeah. They don't have to be superheroes. They can be villains from anything. So obviously we got to put Darth Vader on the list.
Oh yeah, Darth Vader.
Right. Emperor Palpatine.
Okay, hang on. This is getting
these are like what about the guy from fucking Mad Max?
Immortan Joe,
yeah, he is scary. And honorable mentions to the bad guy in Blue Velvet as well, who's like a
Dennis
mini
Hopper in Blue Velvet.
Yeah, with the fucking what the fuck? Mommy. He's got the fucking breathing mask and shit.
Yeah. Okay. What about from another David Lynch we could have from Twin Peaks, we could have...
what about another David Lynch. How about just every bad guy in the David Lynch, because they're all really creepy, right? What about the guy with no eyebrows from Lost Highway? Like, that guy is super fucking creepy.
What was the name of the baddie in Twin Peaks? It wasn't Joe, it was like Bill.
Look, I think if you can't remember his name, he doesn't need to be on the list of best villain of all time. What was his name again?
It was like Bill. It was, it's been so long. I love the show so much as well.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
It's not Bill, it's Bob.
Stay on topic.
We are staying on topic. He's a villain.
It's Bob.
No, but he's not good enough. You can't.
Oh, he is.
He's not gonna win. We shouldn't be really even talking to someone about unless they're in consideration for best villain of all time. I mean, you started by saying Darth Vader.
Right.
How about on the topic of Bill, what about Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs?
Okay, yeah.
Would you fuck me? That guy is... He's memorable for sure.
Was she a great
Hannibal.
big fat person? I think I've got a business card around here somewhere.
Would you fuck me?
But surely Hannibal Lecter is the bigger,
What the fuck
the
belongs
more
in the
memorable
bag?
villain
What belongs in the
from.
bag?
Yeah,
From
well, I mean Hannibal Lecter
that
is
series.
bad too, but like he gives you insights into the mind of Buffalo Bill, who is the actual bad guy in Silence of the Lambs, right?
Only to serve his
Right.
own purposes, dude. Only to
yeah,
serve his own
that's
purposes.
true. His own sinister
Yeah.
purposes. Yeah.
I think he's got to be up there.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
other bad guys have we got?
Do you want me to write these down or
I
not?
am writing them down.
Okay,
I
well,
thought you
first
were. I
of all,
thought the point was that you are going to write them down.
I am writing
Well,
them down.
okay, no, sure, you're
No,
right.
I was talking to Lewis though. I thought Lewis.
I'll write these down. I'll write these down if I
Lewis
deem
is
them
like
to
the
be
maestro
worthy.
of the show, right?
So the way we do this is we get a top 8 and then we have a little knockout tournament, right?
Right.
So do you want any of these people you've listed on that top 8 list?
Well, hold
Yeah,
on.
all of them. I wouldn't have mentioned them if I didn't want
think-
them on there.
I think we have to mention a bunch, then pare that down to a list, and then pare that list down
so
to a
so
one.
let's start off with Darth Vader versus Emperor Palpatine then. Which of those is the
I
bigger
think
villain?
it's got to be Palp, because Darth Vader spoiler alert, comes good in the end, ends up as a good Force ghost, and Palpatine was really the one who set it all in motion, corrupted him, all the rest of it. I think Palpatine has to be seen as the ultimate bad guy of that series, rather than
Yeah.
Vader.
He's a bit more sinister as well, eh? Vader is like what you see is what you get, but with
Yeah.
Palpatine, it's kind of like he's like a cat, you know, like ready to pounce. Like he's all like, "Oh, young Skywalker," and then all of a sudden his eyes go red and he goes like, you know, which is
Yeah.
I think makes it a better bad guy.
Yeah,
Sure.
and also he was a more prominent character in the prequel trilogy, which were all awful.
Yes,
So I think
Okay.
that makes him even more.
that doesn't
of a
really.
villain.
I don't think that counts for anything.
I think
honestly.
it does, because I hated those movies so much, and they've become such a meme that in fact
Yeah.
he's a villain in my life as well as in the movies.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
chucking Sauron on this list as well, by the way.
Sauron?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sauron,
Well, hang on a
Sauron
second.
was a
Let's-
punk ass bitch though. Like,
so if we've got categories, let me just go. Is there any other sci-fi bad guys that you feel like need to be like up against Emperor Palpatine? Like is like fucking Kylo Ren? Like any other
no.
like
I think
alien?
if we're talking
Is-
Star Wars, the only other bad guy is probably like Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? But he's kind of
Right.
cool as well. So
What
I
about
would
Jabba
put him
the
in there.
Hutt? Jabba the Hutt's not in it long enough.
Well, no. What about the Terminator, like the T-1000?
Oh, the
Do you know what I mean?
T-1000 was pretty cool, yeah, and
Yeah,
terrifying as well. The running,
It's
Yeah,
tricky
yeah.
though, because remember that he also came back as a good Terminator. And if you see Terminator Dark Saga or whatever it's called, Dark Timeline, I can't remember what the name of Dark something. The T-1000 that's sent back, basically when his programming is complete, becomes a good guy. Like he's been-
I don't know if you can make all of these characters not a good villain because they had a bad second movie or had some origin story where they
but
turned good.
we've
It's
got to
the
look at them in their
consistency, though.
totality. We've got to
'Cause
look
the
at them
thing-
in their totality.
the
haven't
thing
we?
with bad guys is that they usually start off pretty badass and you're scared of them, but then once you get used to them, they turn into almost like clowns, right? Like bumbling idiots who can't do anything. You know
well,
what I mean?
I'd say if we're talking about Skeletor, then fair enough.
Yeah, but if we're talking about villains over the course of multiple movies, I'm saying that the clown effect persists and grows over the course of the movies. You know what I mean?
reckon?
Yeah, I
mean,
think so.
Thanos, I would say Thanos is a good bad guy. He doesn't become more clowny, I think, as
I'm
the
not,
series
like,
goes on.
That's the guy with the glove, right? That
He's the
cuts
one with
everything in
the gauntlet of power that
Right.
yeah.
snaps
He's
his
the
fingers.
big
and-
purple guy.
yeah.
the big purple guy. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
okay, though sci-fi. All right, fine. What about Alien though?
Oh,
I
the
feel-
alien.
the alien from Aliens, and like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well-
what about like?
Here's the question I've got to ask about the alien. It's just an animal. Like, it would be like
Okay.
being angry at a dog. Like Cujo from the film Cujo.
I was angry at Cujo.
Right, it wasn't Cujo's
He
fault.
was
Cujo
he's
didn't
such
sit
an
down and
arsehole
think.
though.
He's just a fucking crazy dog.
I know.
I think he
but,
might
like,
be rabid.
You could still be an arsehole if you're a crazy dog, right?
No,
Like,
I don't. That's the opposite of true, isn't it? Because if you're not yourself, is that evil? Is evil?
if you're not in your right mind, you mean?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
that's literally been a defense that people have used for killing someone. Is
Yeah,
I was
but they're
not
still-
in my right mind.
Yeah, but they're still arseholes anyway, right? For
I don't
doing
know.
what they
I don't
did.
know if that's. I don't know if that's true. I don't
Okay.
think
Okay.
we can't say that the alien is bad
If
any more than we
somebody,
can
if
say
somebody
that.
killed your
the
mother
disease
and then
is
turned
bad.
around and said I wasn't in my right mind, you'd still think they were an arsehole.
But
Well,
we're not trying
that's
to
a little
killing your
more
find.
mum, right?
personal. That's a
Well,
little more
exactly,
but
personal
that's exactly
than
it.
Cujo.
It's in the eye of the beholder, right? Like it is going to be like a personal thing. And
Well, if that's true-
I took Cujo's affronts personally, is what all I'm
I
saying.
don't think that's fair on Cujo. Not
Well, I
least
think-
because
which one-
it's
Cujo's
barely
Cujo's
a
a piece of
sentient
shit,
animal.
and you know what?
He's a
Cujo's
dog.
he's long gone as well, so who cares?
I care because we're going to
didn't they
put this
destroy
fucking
him at
list
the end?
together. Yeah, I'm sure he died.
Cujo's not going on the list.
No, Cujo's
What
not
about the
going on the
spider
list.
from Arachnophobia? I would put the spider from Arachnophobia
But it's a
on the list.
spider. It's doing what spiders
Cujo's
do.
just a stupid dog as well. I mean, it's all the same, right?
I will
you're
die.
right.
I will die on this hill. We can't
They
put
do
these
know
animals
better.
on there. We
You're
can't
right,
put animals
okay.
on there. It's ridiculous.
You can't.
Yeah, okay,
You
good.
know, when you get bitten by a cute little
A cute
cat
puppy.
or whatever,
A cat.
it doesn't
A
know
praying mantis.
what it's doing. Yeah, it's
When,
not
when
evil.
I ate salmon last night, am I evil because I essentially paid someone to murder and prepare that fish for me? That's pretty evil. When
no,
you think
say
I
about
wouldn't
it.
say so. I mean, like
Well,
it's
killed the
acceptably
animal.
You
evil.
knowingly decided to do that.
That salmon's kids might have something to say about that, etc.
I don't know if they're called kids. They're spawn.
Spawn. All
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yes,
is,
part of the pod.
if we're going to go down that route, then it doesn't make sense. Animals
All right.
aren't capable of evil.
Let's leave sci-fi then. If you want, if you actually, let's just
We're
make
not
sure,
even on. So we left sci-fi a long time ago. We're talking about vicious dogs
Yeah,
and
we literally
spiders.
talked about Cujo
animals,
and
evil
arachnophobia.
animals, wild animals,
It's
beasts.
an interesting subject, though.
Okay,
because
no, you're
there,
right.
There
Beasts
is
is
movies
an
and
option.
books that feature, animals gone wild, if you like. I we've touched on a couple, but there's definitely more out there, right?
Yeah, I agree. Are we
Like,
going to
what
put
about Mr. Mistopheles? Like, what about the entire movie Cats?
well,
Mr.
I would
Mistopheles and
I would
everybody?
put that entire film as a bad guy.
Okay,
To be honest with you.
extra.
Yeah.
So I've already put the categories, right? Because I think we should decide which is because that helps us pare stuff down.
Right.
We've got sci-fi, we've got beasts.
All right.
We've got
What about
fantasy.
Voldemort?
Well, Voldemort goes into fantasy along with Sauron.
Yeah, but we're
And-
just putting a big list together, aren't we? So we're
Yes,
not gonna,
but we need to trim it down to 8, and I feel like we're going to have hundreds if we
right,
don't.
we just hit 8. So
Yes,
we,
but oh, shall we stop? No, but I think generally, I think we should pair it within categories. Is what I'm saying. Like these.
wait.
we
So
should
we're going
get-
to do a multi-part series of biggest bad guys going through.
No, we're going to pick one from each of 8
Each categories, and then they have to
them-
square off against each other to become
Exactly.
the ultimate bad guy. That's how
Do you see
we're
what
going
I
to narrow
mean?
it down.
Yeah, I'm not sure
So-
there are 8 categories, or are we
Well,
going to
let's find out.
All
I
right.
don't know where we're going yet.
All right,
This is-
we've got
this is
sci-fi,
completely loose.
horror,
Okay,
fantasy?
sci-fi horror. There's got to be kids in there as well, right? Like the bad guys from like the Ernest movies, or like
right.
the
I'll
bad
put kids movie.
the bad guy from
Kids.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
We
We,
obviously have
uh,
serial killers.
Cruella
on this
de Vil.
list.
Oh, wait. So are we going to go reality here, or is this purely fiction?
Yeah, reality is
already
a good
picked-
category as well,
But
right?
you've
Like
already picked like a lot of
Nasty
horrible
Nick from Big Brother or something like that.
Right, but that's not real. What I'm saying is,
No,
we're not
he's
going to
real.
take real
Would you
life
say he's an
characters, are we?
arsehole? Would
Yeah,
you
of
say
course,
he's
Nasty
more of an
Nick was-
arsehole than Cujo?
Yes,
I see.
would.
What you should say is Hitler should be on the list.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
if we're gonna go into reality,
Let's
of
get
course
Hitler on
it
there.
becomes no fictional character is as bad as someone who actually did this stuff in real life. So we've
Yeah.
got to stick to fiction, otherwise it gets silly.
Okay, no.
It's gonna get too
okay,
silly, yeah.
Well, no. We should. Well, if we're not doing reality, yeah, because who's gonna beat Hitler?
Well,
Right.
maybe Jeffrey Dahmer, but even then, Hitler's probably worse.
How are you fucking putting Jeffrey Dahmer on there?
Man, have you read about what that guy did? It's fucking insane.
You're so crazy sometimes.
That's true.
What
And
about
then we
Hans
gotta go
Gruber?
into the whole.
What about
Hans
Joseph
Gruber? He's
Fritzl?
Action. So that means action movies.
Oh, right. Sorry,
Hans
back
Gruber.
to
Sorry, we're not
fiction.
going to do reality.
Okay,
we
good.
banned reality.
Yeah, reality is just going to be too much, right? Like it's
So then superhero is a category, I think.
superhero.
yeah, probably
yeah.
superhero.
Yeah.
Superhero.
What about a
supervillain.
bad guy in like a comedy movie? Because quite often comedy movies are driven by
Yeah,
A
like
bad
like
guy.
Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore,
sure.
for example.
Remember, guys, this list is about the best supervillain or villain
Villain-like,
there
yeah.
is, right? Who
Right.
we think the best villain is.
So
not
it's not
necessarily.
it's not antagonist. It's just it's actual.
And then I'm going to
villain.
put historical / drama. So we've got sci-fi, horror, fantasy, kids movies, action movies, superhero movies, comedies, and historical/drama.
All right,
Because that
we might
allows us
have
to put things like Hans Lander in from
Okay,
Inglourious
sure.
Basterds, for example.
Let's start at the top. Let's
Sci-fi.
finish off sci-fi. Emperor Palpatine.
Palp.
Are there any more contenders? Immortan Joe probably would have to go in there.
I think that would come under possibly action.
Yeah, Immortan Joe. I would put the T-1000 in there as well,
In
or even
sci-fi.
the Terminator, like himself,
yeah,
because
yeah.
in the
Oh,
first
absolutely.
movie he was the villain, right?
Oh, the
But do we-
T-1000 was the liquid metal one.
Yes.
So yeah, sorry, the T-1000. I was thinking of the T. What was it? 500? The Arnie
Because
one. Or was
you
it the
have to
T100?
imagine these guys fighting each other as well for
Yeah, yeah.
the ultimate
Mm.
supremacy. So like imagine the T-1000 fighting the Emperor. That would be
that would be a
fucking
tough
nuts.
one.
Holy
That would
crap.
be a tough one. That's like some fucking Mortal Kombat shit right there.
I think the
Yeah.
lightsaber would do pretty well against him, though.
Well, he could
you
just
know?
reform though, can't he?
Yeah, but I think like his weakness was like lava, right? And the lightsabers do get pretty hot. They
That's
burn
true.
stuff, don't they?
That's true.
You know, I think you could zap him as well. I don't know how good the lightning would be good against liquid metal, though.
Would Palp be able to use the dark side to corrupt the T-1000 and make him like a dark Jedi? Like one
Oh,
of the bad guys?
easily. Yeah.
We
I
think
feel like-
Palpatine, even though it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there were
Yeah.
droids.
There were. Yeah.
And there were droids that served the Empire, so would he be able to convince him, would join me in the dark side? And the T-1000 be like, yes, master. Like, would that be a thing?
Well,
Well,
if he's
imagine.
already working for Skynet, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't
the
think-
evil AI.
I think the thing
He's
is
already
though
got a
is
master.
that I like like Palpatine had more of like he wanted to rule the galaxy, right? Like with an
Right.
iron fist, whereas the T-1000 really only wanted to find John Connor. Like he was just programmed to do one thing, right? To
True.
go back in time and kill John Connor. And that was
Yeah,
it. It didn't really
that was
care
it.
about anything else. So like,
You're right.
like in terms of ambitions and stuff, I would say, yeah, the T-1000 is formidable, like on the battlefield, but like, it like in the overarching like meta sense, it's kind of simple, like he's not.
It's a fair point.
I see. Okay, let's leave sci-fi alone. What's next, P-Flax?
So horror. So
Horror,
I've got
okay.
The
Freddy
clown from
Krueger,
It.
Freddy Krueger, the clown from It.
Pennywise.
Michael Myers. Yeah,
Pennywise.
Pennywise
That's
the
right, yeah,
clown. We
Pennywise.
got Michael Myers from the Halloween movies.
I think Pennywise is having seen the recent It movies. I mean, we got to couch this in both. We are 40 and we have a long history with this stuff, right?
Right.
And there was movies that terrified us as kids for sure, and they stand up. But those recent It movies have been brilliant, and It scared me when I was a kid too. So
I saw a bit of one
I'm
of the more
Pennywise.
recent It movies, and he was in like a house of mirrors, the clown, and he put his like tongue up against the glass and was sliding down, and he had like tons of teeth and stuff. It was horrifying actually.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pennywise the clown.
Yeah, it's pretty,
really bad.
pretty scary. Pretty
Really
scary.
horrible villain. Yeah, I hate
So
him.
that's horror. Are we going to put things like the Predator from Predator in horror, or would that be sci-fi?
That's more sci-fi, I think.
I think that's sci-fi.
I think
yeah.
I think the difference between a sci-fi villain and a horror villain is kind of like what we were saying about animals before. The Predator, the T-1000, they're animalistic, really, aren't they? Like they have like a very simple, narrow purpose, right? Whereas
Right.
like a horror
I think you
villain
could tell
is a
the
lot
horror
more
one.
psychological and
Well, it's an
there's
easy
more
way to
it.
tell, right? Because the title of the movie is the name of the horror villain, right?
Right.
That's how you know that it's a horror.
What about Jason Voorhees from
Jason
from,
Voorhees,
yeah, from the Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, Freddy and Jason.
With the hockey mask?
Again, they're
Yeah.
all very spooky, classic, slashery horror
classic
tropes.
slashers,
But
yeah.
in a way, they're a bit campy now. Like, they've become a bit of a joke.
They've gone through the clown
know?
process like that I was describing, right?
The clown
haven't-
process.
They've become a little bit parodies of themselves.
That's it. They're just
over
become
time.
caricatures of themselves through
Yeah,
the ages.
to the point where these horror movies of the 80s and 90s, I'm sure they're supposed to be scary, but they kind of aren't.
Yeah.
People laugh at them now, and it's sad. but they haven't had a reboot.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? I feel like it did happen to it a little bit.
What about
Well, then again,
the
even
drum
Stephen
teacher
Curry's
from
version was
Whiplash?
very scary. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's get him on the list.
Not
You
quite
should
my
put him
tempo.
on the list
not
somewhere.
quite my tempo.
Yeah, that guy was fucking insane. And like the like when he thought that like he knew like all along what was going on, and he used that as like the fuel for the one last hurrah at the end.
Right.
And you just think,
Yeah.
this is such a problematic relationship. It was astounding, really. Like, it was crazy. I would put him on a list of villains for sure.
The
All
drum
right,
teacher
we'll add-
from Whiplash.
we'll
I
add
can't
him
remember
down
his
on the
name.
list.
Everybody knows who we mean. I
Yes.
don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Are they ready? I mean, people are going to be unhappy that we are giving horror the short shrift here, in a sense.
Well, I
'cause
think
there are
a
some
lot. There's a lot of
classic
horror that I
villains.
haven't seen, serious horror that people are really into, and then the horror I have seen is, like you said, just become a joke. Like Freddy Krueger, Jason, like all the sort of like tropey old classic slasher villains.
Right, but then you've
nobody
got things
cares
like
of anymore. They're like,
Jigsaw from Saw.
yeah. See, I've
uh,
never seen any of the Saw movies or anything.
Okay, he was pretty evil. But what was weird is they kept making movies even after they killed off his character, which really confused me.
Right.
You've got Pennywise the Clown is quite recent because they remade it, but what, 6 years ago, or maybe it was more recent than that. They're still making fucking Friday the 13th movies and Halloween movies, I'm sure. I think Freddy Krueger certainly had a huge influence in the 80s in terms of horror bad guys, because even though he was extremely campy,
Yeah.
it was fucking terrifying as a kid.
Yeah,
What
it
about
was.
Chucky?
And what
Chucky
about
was never scary. I don't think anybody was ever really
Pinhead?
scared
Remember
of-
Pinhead?
Pinhead
And,
from the Hellraiser movies
Hellraiser,
was genuinely terrifying.
Kind of scary. And
I
what
would
was the
say
other
that
one?
is really scary.
Candyman. You say
That was only-
Candyman three
yeah,
times in the mirror at
They've
midnight.
remade that as well. They've remade that.
I know.
What
so
about that guy
stupid.
with pins in his face?
Yeah,
That's Pinhead.
That's Pinhead.
That's
Yeah,
Pinhead.
Pinhead.
Oh,
from
the
Hellraiser.
Cenobites, the Hellraiser Cenobites, who are creatures that have descended into hell and are now sort of obsessed with pain.
When I
is why they've got all
see
stuff
the
stuck in
cover
them.
of the movie Hellraiser, man, it takes me back to the 80s.
It does. It
Going
was
to
that
the
classic
video
thing
store
you
to
saw in
rent
the video
movies
store.
with my
Because we were kids, right?
mom and dad. Yeah.
And so seeing that as an 18, that was, there was like this whole section that was almost just terrifying to
Yeah, it
to
was
look
like
at,
an
a
off
wall
limit
of
section, right? Like there was
section.
the adult section, but then there usually was a horror section in the video store as well that kids didn't really go into.
Just the VHS covers were scary.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, they called them video nasties, didn't they? And there was like a big push to ban them, and a whole bunch of them in the 80s were literally banned. Like, can you imagine a film being banned nowadays? Like, it's not possible, really, because of the internet as well.
Yeah.
But there were movies that they cut huge
Well,
portions from them. And,
Clockwork Orange and Child's Play were both banned in the UK
yeah,
for
they
like the
just
longest
banned
time,
them.
eh?
They were like, no, this is too much for people, and banned them. But
Well, actually, the video nasties was I think it was more kind of like the really nasty stuff, like a lot of porn as well, and snuff stuff, and like kind of a lot of it. I think a lot of mainstream stuff got caught up in it.
yeah,
because it was pushing the envelope, pushing the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I mean, we live in a world now of a completely different world where anything kind of goes if you want to find it, and you sort of kind of have to self-police. But I think there was a time, certainly in the moral panic idea, that we needed to protect certainly children,
Yes.
from just having access to this stuff or it being shown on TV.
Yeah, Child's Play. There's definitely links with Child's Play to some of like the nastier incidents of like the late 80s, early 90s in the UK, especially, right? Like, wasn't Child's Play something to do with Jamie Bulger and all that as well? Like there was.
Oh God,
There was.
I don't know.
There's definitely
there
like
was
links
a
to
real
it.
panic.
Yeah,
But there were movies like
That was Chucky, though, right?
that was
Child's
Chucky,
Play
yeah.
was
those
Chucky,
movies.
yeah. But I mean, it wasn't. They weren't scary movies because the
No.
fucking puppet is so stupid. They were just like gory movies.
Yeah.
There was a big thing for gore.
Yeah.
Like Cannibal Holocaust, which was a movie that was released, had scenes cut for animal cruelty and rape. That's why that was edited. So when you look back at why these films were cut, in some regards, these were not just films that people were making.
No.
Just for a laugh. They were deliberately trying to be fucking
Dramatic.
outrageous.
Outrageous.
But
And it was
there's
like a little
always
bit
going to be
depraved
that.
as well,
like,
right?
There's
Like-
always going to be like things that are at the edge of what's allowed, and they do well. You know, the things on the fringes do well. Look at things like the human centipede and how
Oh
you know
my
that
God,
just
please
awful
don't.
concept.
Yeah,
right,
what
that
a
became
concept.
this big thing because of how over the top it is, and kids or teenagers certainly want to challenge themselves with the grossest and the goriest and the worst things, to try and.
But a lot of these were made in Italy, believe it or not. There was a horror film called Gestapo's Last Orgy, which is a Nazi exploitation film. Like
Nice.
this was a big thing. Driller
Somebody
Killer,
was
which
exploiting the Nazis.
Yeah, I know. It's like blaxploitation, but with Nazis. So it's kind of out there. Driller Killer was a big one in the. But that was Abel Ferrara, who was went on to be considered quite a sort of good director. But it's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely. I've seen it. It is terrible.
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre either.
It's just depressing.
They've remade it like a million times as well, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It's time to move on. P-Flex, what's the next category? We've definitely agreed Pennywise.
Fantasy?
Pennywise
Wait,
is the way
we
we
going with Pennywise? What
We
about
got to.
Pinhead? Pinhead was so much scarier.
But I chuck Pinhead in there as well for the scary factor. But I think Pennywise, again, like with Pinhead, I was too young to watch Hellraiser and too scared because of the cover of the box. But it is a bit more accessible.
No, actually, do you know what? I was terrified by the Pinhead guy. And I've never seen it. So maybe it, just because I don't know about it, it's even scarier.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, once you've watched it, and there are a lot of Hellraiser movies, it gets scarier because you go into hell. It's horrifying. And if you watch the first Hellraiser movie, it's not like it's not schlocky and sort of like played for laughs or meant to be like, oh my God, they're behind you. It's genuinely horrifying. Like this guy has been reduced to like a little blob. And she needs to feed him human blood to come back to human form. And so she lures men into their house and then kills them with a hammer, or knocks him out with a hammer, and then he sucks the blood out of him until he comes back. And then the Cenobites come out to reclaim him. It's horrifying. It's genuinely terrifying. And it scared the shit out of me. So I really think Pinhead, and it's all about hell, which scares me as an atheist. The idea that it's real is even scarier. So Pennywise the Clown, I know it's pretend. Pinhead, part of me's thinking, what if I'm wrong?
Do you worry?
Do you
worry about hell?
Of course.
Do you know what?
Because if I'm wrong, I'm going there.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest with you. I sometimes worry as well about hell. And I always
Send me to fucking hell. It doesn't exist. Fuck, it does not exist. You're mad.
Yeah, but
you're fucking mad.
What if it does though?
All I'm saying is there's a non-zero chance that it's real, right? There is in an infinite universe, there is a very tiny chance it's real, and you could end up there. That's pretty scary. That's all I'm saying.
don't even think like our consciousness is particularly consistent. Like every morning you wake up, right, after being asleep, unconscious, gone, right?
Yeah.
You could just be reset at that point, and you probably are.
Yeah.
Like your consciousness only sticks around for 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? You only really live on this earth today.
Man, dying in your sleep's got to be the way to go, but at the same time, it's kind of depressing to think about it, eh? Like, because you got a whole day planned and you're just never going to wake up again. I mean, that is sad, isn't it?
If you wake up in hell, that's bad, obviously. But I think that
you're going to come up with something worse than an eternity of suffering.
I don't think it can exist unless we are all in a big computer simulation and there is Elon Musk, the arbiter of the computer system, has decided that
you haven't tweeted something mean about him. That's it. You're in hell.
I think that's the only possible scenario. And maybe if you get your head frozen, you might wake up. You might be in a living hell. That would be bad.
True.
But yeah, I wouldn't risk it. Right. Anyway,
fantasy.
Let's move on. Fantasy.
Well,
this is the good stuff.
We're
right?
kind of limited on this because obviously we're sticking to movies.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I feel like with fantasy, it's just like Lord of the Rings. Like what other like fantasy that movie fantasy? I mean.
There's so many
because like there's so much more fantasy in books and games and stuff where there's like you'd have more to pick from, but for movies I would struggle.
Voldemort.
Yeah, we'll put Voldemort in there.
See,
I was going to put that under kids movies.
I know it's a Harry
sure.
Potter, but like I've never seen them, so I don't know like what.
Okay. Your kids
got-
would love them. They are fun movies.
My son
You
tried
got-
to read the first book and he did not like it. It was just like,
fair play.
but I think
The
some of
movies
his
are more
friends
fun.
at school are into it now, so he's like talking
He
about
wants to
getting
keep
into
up,
it. Yeah, he
right?
wants to keep up, sort of thing. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like not for him, or I don't know. But like,
Well, there's a few others. There's Queen Bavmorda from Willow. If anyone remembers her, she betrays her own daughter and attempts to kill a baby.
I went to see
Pretty bad.
Willow in the movie theaters for my 8th birthday. We had like me and a couple of my friends. My parents took us all to see Willow in the movie theaters when it came out. It was like because it came out in what, like 87
Something like that. Yeah.
or 88 maybe.
Let me look it up. Because there's a new movie coming out. It was 1988.
Yeah.
But there's a new Willow coming out on fucking Disney Plus.
Wow.
Some new Willow thing, new series or movie or something.
Yeah.
So they've obviously there's a fan base for it. I am a fan. I will be honest with you. I loved it as a kid because there was no Lord of the Rings movie, and this was as close as you got to something like it.
Yeah.
Or there
Well, I mean-
was the Ralph Bakshi one, but come on.
There's other villains from Lord of the Rings. So, I mean, Saruman as well as Sauron, right? Saruman is a great villain.
What about what's his face? Boromir. He's kind of a villain as well, right?
Nah,
He had-
it's the ring. It's the ring, does it?
He had
sir?
an agenda, though.
He just wants to do what's right for his people.
Okay. Of course, not just Voldemort, though. A lot of people would argue that that woman is a worse bad guy. Not J.K. Rowling. What's her name? The pink, the lovely, the lady. the nice.
Imelda Staunton's character.
Yes. What's
Who?
her name? I can't even
she's
remember
an
her name, so probably not.
Who was she?
Umbridge, Dolores Umbridge.
Right.
Oh, a great villain. You know, with that lovely middle class lady, pink hair, pink sort of dresses.
Yes, she looks like a
You know.
career politician.
Yes, just a really, really good villain.
Yeah, but is she worse than Voldemort? I mean, that's like saying Goebbels was worse than Hitler. You know, it's
I think
like-
a lot of people would say so.
No.
Just because of how insidious she was, and kind of. I guess she was a servant of.
Yeah,
of-
I mean
of-
that's
of-
why
of
I
the-
think Saruman would have to be out of. You've got to go to the top in these things. You know, essentially
I see.
in any structure, whether it be
This
a
is why
villain
Emperor
structure or not,
Palpatine is at the top
buck
of the list
stops
as well.
with Pal. The buck stops with
see.
Sauron.
So your ultimate villain, like bar none, is Palpatine. Like you just think Palpatine.
No,
but
that's in
no,
sci-fi.
no.
I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
in terms of how if we're going through a movie like say the Harry Potter movies, if we're finding all these other guys that were along for the ride and also being bad guys, essentially the ultimate bad guy would have to be their leader. Because if you're
How
a complete
about,
badass and you're still following orders, that guy must be even worse.
You know, how about that guy from Ghostbusters?
Gozer.
Vigo.
Vigo.
Gozer.
Vigo, the conqueror,
the
destroyer,
Carpathian.
the Carpathian.
Vigo the Carpathian.
That was Ghostbusters too. I think,
That was
and the thing is, like Gozer, I think if you're talking about really big bad guys, it's got to be Gozer, right? The Gozerian, because he was like the
Gozer.
god. He was like the god of all of that. So,
But what about the guy Walter Peck? I think his name was the one who came in.
this man has no dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Walter
Shut
Peck.
down the facility. and
Yeah,
let
he
all the
worked for
ghosts
the
out.
Environmental Protection Agency, right?
Yeah. He was, and he
that's
was
such
an
a good
arsehole
line.
in Die Hard as well. He was the shitty reporter.
That's
who was a
right.
complete
Yeah,
twat.
he plays
William-
those
what's his
shitty
name?
roles so well, eh?
I
Like,
think it's like William Anderton. I'm gonna look him up. Oh god, it's
wait,
William
was he
something.
in Die Hard? No, there was the guy in Die Hard was different.
Yes. No, it was William Atherton. It was the same guy. He was Walter. I think it was Walter Peck in
Walter
in
Peck, yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, do you know who I'm thinking about from Die Hard? I'm thinking about the guy who was like
The police chief.
the big like Wall Street guy who thought he was gonna like talk
yeah,
to
yeah.
he was
him.
like doing cocaine and stuff in the
Hans
office.
Bubby.
Yeah.
I'm your
that's
white
right, yeah.
knight. Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah. God, I haven't seen that movie in a long
Oh
time.
god, what was
So
his name?
good though.
Alice.
Oh my
That's who
God.
he played. Alice.
You are right about. I think Alan Rickman's done some good. I mean, obviously Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Good
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Wasn't Alan Rickman in Harry Potter as well?
He
Didn't
was,
he play?
but he was not a
somebody
villain.
in-
He was not.
Oh, right,
Spoiler
okay.
alert: he was not a villain.
Oh, right.
He thought he was, but
okay.
instead, it was the
Yeah.
most brilliant. Even as not a fan of the Harry Potter trilogy, his plot, the threads of his sort of character are the pinnacle of the entire thing. So good, so good,
The Snape story is one of the better ones, isn't
so
it?
good.
Yeah. So all right. Well, let's stick to fantasy. Who do we think then? Like, there's a lot to pick. Honestly, like,
Are we putting Gozer on the list? I'd put Gozer on the list.
on
Why
the
not?
list. But,
sure, let's put fucking Gozer on the list.
I mean, so
I
it's
like
between
Gozer.
Sauron and Voldemort, I would guess, because Queen Bad Mordor was only in one movie, and it was Willow. Saruman was a servant of Sauron, really.
Saruman was the punk ass bitch I was referring to, right? Didn't he get thrown off the tower in like the second movie?
Yeah.
What a fucking idiot.
I would
mean,
also
like,
say that he was kind of corrupt because he had one of the Palantirs, that sort of crystal ball, and I think he was corrupted by Sauron, who, I mean, essentially it all comes from Sauron. You know, he says, Gandalf, we have to join with him. You know, he's like, we're not going to beat him. We've got to join with him. Like, he's made a conscious decision, but essentially Sauron is the ultimate evil in that universe, isn't he? And Gozer was only in one movie. But all they had to do was cross the streams. All they had to do was cross the streams.
Gozer was in the new movie as well, if you'd seen it,
no.
which you probably have not bothered to see,
I have
but
not.
it's looking like potentially a trilogy,
Lord.
it will expand the Ghostbuster
Well, that
universe.
definitely puts Gozer down my list in that case.
What, so you're
No,
going...
come on, though. I mean, if we're just considering Gozer from the original Ghostbusters movie, I think Gozer was a badass in that. Like, I thought it was pretty cool.
All right,
no?
what bad things did Gozer do?
Gozer resurrected themselves through the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper, which turned
Zool.
Lewis and Dana, Zool and all that stuff into
that was a great bit. That was a great bit with the
dogs.
eggs in the fridge.
With the eggs,
the whole thing.
That was awesome.
That was a great bit.
And also wreaked havoc on New York City, if you remember.
I do remember.
Through
The Marshmallow
Ray
Man.
imagining the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Right.
That's right.
Which,
That was
you know.
Gozer's fault.
Let's compare and contrast Gozer's output with Sauron's output, which is that he wanted to enslave the entirety of Middle-earth and had almost already done so.
I mean, it's a place
previously.
that doesn't exist, so.
Yeah, but Gozer doesn't exist.
Yeah, but New York City does.
Yeah, but
that's
again,
the
it's
fucking-
fantasy New York City. It might as well be called Gotham City, though, Jamie.
No. It was actual New York City. Didn't you see?
It was.
Hey, I'm walking
Hey, I'm
here
walking
with
here.
sluggers
That's what
fucking
people
eating
like
hot
in
dogs.
Gotham. Anyway, I think Sauron is definitely the more.
I'm happy
but
with
look, let's
Sauron.
just put Gozer on because I think that
is it
this
coming
is a
down?
group
Is it a
organization.
three-way between Gozer,
Voldemort and
Sauron,
Sauron, yeah.
and
Voldemort? I
Yeah.
don't really know much about Voldemort, so
Right.
my pick would be with Gozer or Sauron.
I mean,
who I'm
honestly,
familiar with.
let's be honest. In all of these movies, they are a background character, right? Like the 90s.
Yeah, Sauron, you never really...
you never see Sauron,
It's a
really.
presence,
Yeah, but
right?
he doesn't
Same with
exist. He
Gozer.
doesn't have a mortal form. That's the.
But honestly, like the Ring is more of a villain than Sauron. Do you know what I mean?
But the ring is
I mean,
Sauron.
Gozer does have a mortal form in a very athletic-looking Asian woman, which is got to have bonus points there, no?
What?
You've got to hate the villain. You can't fancy the villain.
Yeah, but she's pretty fucking hot, though. She's got, like, that short hair and stuff, like the spiky,
She
like,
lures you
David
in.
Bowie hair.
My vote's for Sauron.
Okay, I'll go with Sauron
I'll
as
go
well.
with Sauron as well. All right.
Even though I think Gozer is a contender for sure, I'll take Sauron.
I think it's a big stretch. I can't
We should
believe
do-
it came down this close.
we should do
Gozer
superhero
and
villains.
Wait, we've got
We
kids'
should-
movies. We haven't even listed any bad guys.
Let's not worry about the kids' movies. Let's just do the topics we know. Superhero villains. We got Thanos.
I know
right?
kids' movies.
We got
Thanos? What about Magneto?
We got Magneto.
Magneto's kind
Great
of a
villain.
badass.
Yeah.
Magneto is, but he's also a good guy.
We
So
got
it's kind
the
of
Joker. We got Lex
All of the
Luthor.
superheroes kind of like
Lex Luthor's a good one.
jump between being good and bad,
Yeah,
right? Like,
Thanos doesn't, but Magneto definitely. I mean, he's basically sticking up for mutant rights in a world where they're about to be annihilated. And him and Professor X basically take two ends of the spectrum. Professor X is we should work with them. Magneto is we should fucking kill them all because they keep trying to kill us. You can understand his point. You know, they're literally on the verge of annihilation, and he saves a bunch of them. I don't think Magneto is a villain in the same way that Lex Luthor is, who just seems to be an absolute piece of
hey,
shit.
well, what about if we're still on fantasy, which I Are we?
No, we've gone
we're on
Superhero.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't. Okay, that's fine. Superhero.
If we
mind.
missed someone, you can bring them up and we'll quickly discuss. Go on. Who have you got?
Well, I was gonna say like the guy from Game of Thrones. You know the
Charles Dance. What?
Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister.
Well, I mean,
Joffrey.
Or like,
you mean Joffrey?
Joffrey, Cersei,
all the Lannisters.
What about the Night King?
The Night King one, the withered one, the one that can ride the ice dragon and shit like that. Like I don't know, like they were kind of cool, no?
Yeah,
they were.
I know nobody liked the last season
That's
of the
problem.
show, but
it's sullied the entire memory that I think even bringing it up
did.
has brought pain to people.
Yeah, it was good for a time. Joffrey was great. Actually,
He was a really bad.
he was really good.
I'm going to stick Joffrey on there. Under
the earlier seasons
action,
were like really good, and the books were great.
Oh no, that
as
should be
I
under
loved the books.
fantasy. Well, fuck, is it Sauron or Joffrey? I certainly hated Joffrey a lot more than I hated Sauron.
Joffrey was such a penis.
I'm going to put
hated
Joffrey on there. He was a fucking cunt. He really was.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
he was just an
Oh,
absolute.
and by the way, can we actually also have on here Grandpa Joe from the Charlie and the Chocolate
Yes,
Factory?
what a cunt.
Everyone hates
On fucking
that guy.
kids movie, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, why did everybody hate Grandpa Joe?
Let me tell
Remind
you
me?
about Grandpa Joe. All right, he's big.
Wait, the guy who's burping in the air with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you a little bit about Grandpa Joe, because this occurred to me a few years ago when I was rewatching the movie. I thought Grandpa Joe's a fucking piece of shit. Charlie
All right, okay,
and his
I'm
mother
interested.
are broke as shit, right? She's the only
Yeah.
one bringing in any money. She's got a son to look after. The dad's gone. You don't know what happened, if he died or if he left or whatever. They live in a fucking shack. And they've she's got 3 or 4 old people to look after in this bed. I think it's 4. And they've all taken to their beds. They haven't stood up in years. They've just taken to their beds. She's there grinding away. She looks like shit, even though, you can tell that she's just being beaten down by this. Charlie is almost giving up. But he's got this dream of getting the golden ticket. He gets a golden ticket. He goes home. Within 2 minutes, Grandpa Joe's up, dancing around the bed. We've got a golden ticket. It's ours, Charlie. Ours?
No.
Ours?
It's he sings I've got a golden ticket, doesn't he?
He says, it's ours, Charlie, I think.
Oh, well,
But
either way,
he's a piece of shit. Suddenly,
he's
after
staying in
years
bed waiting on hand and foot, right? And then suddenly, as soon as Charlie gets a golden ticket,
he's up and at him.
He's fucking doing it.
Unbelievable.
He's leaving everything behind. Yeah.
I feel like you guys aren't putting yourselves in Grandpa Joe's shoes here.
Okay,
like
pitch
I
it
would
to
be
us.
the exact same.
Yeah, but
like
you're
if my
lazy
life
bastard.
sucked that bad, I would just lay in bed as well and wait for Charlie to bring home a golden ticket. Like,
So look, he's
Can we put
slovenly and
Sips on the
ill-mannered.
list of villains?
He
Come on,
teaches
don't
his
put me
bad
on the
habits to
list.
Charlie, both by example and direct instruction. He's bedridden for 20 years while his daughter is working to support a family of 6.
Yeah.
He demonstrates little respect for women. He's a lecherous pervert. He
Yeah.
spends his days in bed with 2 women and another man. Right?
Yeah.
he's-
Which is itself an abomination.
he's my hero. This man is my hero.
I'm putting Grandpa
He's
Joe
incredible. He's
bad.
actually also an industrial spy because he has an impressive array of knowledge about Wonka's operations, particularly for a man who's been bedridden for 20 years. He steals throughout the factory, okay, and has plans to sell Slugworth a gobstopper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe's bad. What a piece of shit. All right, he's definitely on the list under kids' movies. I put
He
him.
I
demonstrates
can't believe we
little
put
empathy
this guy on the list.
as
Like,
the other
I can't
kids.
believe you guys have thought to this extent about
The
this
other children,
throwaway-ass character.
he has no empathy for them when they all start drowning and getting turned into blueberries and all that shit.
Yeah,
he's,
but do
he's
you have
keen.
empathy for them when they start drowning and turning into blueberries? Like,
He's
those
fit-
kids are assholes.
He's vindictive towards the other people and selfish. He puts himself ahead of other people often, right? And makes jokes about the other kids when they were being sucked down the river. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a piece
Yeah,
of
but
shit.
those kids were fucking pieces of shit themselves, though.
They're kids. They're products of their environment. I'm not going to judge a child because they're obnoxious. I mean, what was her name? The little girl, Beauregard or something.
Veruca Salt.
Veruca Salt, right? She was a piece of shit, but her dad spoiled her rotten.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to
What
raise
about the
them right.
cowboy video game playing guy
TV
as well?
Mike, I think his
TV Mike. Who was the chocolate? Who's the fat German chocolate eater guy? What was his
Augustus
name?
Gloop.
Fuck me, man. What a movie.
They were
Oh,
just
shit.
spoiled kids. Like,
I
Yeah,
think
they
they
were.
were they were all villains in that. But even Wonka was a bit of a fucking villain. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
even like
Wonka was
Charlie
a f-
particularly.
No,
Did you?
Charlie was okay, but it was just like, I don't know, man. Like,
I think
the
that's
whole
just a
movie
Roald
was-
Dahl thing, though, right?
it's
All
just
of his
kind of
stuff
upsetting
is
All
a
the
little
little
bit.
kids
yeah.
are evil in his book, which
All of his
other
Roald
kids
Dahl
love
stuff is
reading
great.
that.
I
Like,
was like, almost
Yeah.
every character is like a piece of shit.
It's
in
so
a Roald
different,
Dahl
though.
book.
It's
Yeah,
so
weird.
refreshingly different to the
All right.
standard.
well, for kids'
wrote
movie,
stuff.
I'm putting Grandpa Joe down 100%.
All right,
Sure.
put Grandpa Joe
So,
down. I didn't
action
realize
movies.
the extent of his crimes.
Oh, he's terrible.
honestly,
He's terrible. Action movies.
Yeah.
I've got Hans Gruber. What else have we got?
the
Oh.
T-1000.
That was under
Uh,
Sci-Fi and Palp 1.
Okay, what about Immortan Joe
We can put him
for
in.
action?
He's
No,
a
no, no,
he's a
let's-
fucking piece of shit for sure.
We need some. What about Le Chiffre?
Fuck, this fucking
in one
Lucifer.
movie.
All right, fine. What about Goldfinger or Blofeld or like any of these James Bond
the
villains?
Bond villains are dumb as hell. Like, we're not
think?
putting them on the list.
They're also
Okay.
campy and,
They're
and silly.
gimmicky, like one-hit wonders. Like they're so bad. You know, they do all this like they do all this work to like get the base set up and everything, and then they just bumble through their plan. They're always foiled by James Bond. They're garbage.
I agree.
What about Hans Lander from Inglorious
I've
Bastards?
got- he's in historical drama slash historical slash drama.
He is a
Late.
Nazi.
Wait, is that the guy that played by Christopher? What's his name?
Waltz. Yeah.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Christopher-
He's under
He's
historical
so
slash
fucking
drama
good.
rather
yeah,
than
yeah. I
action.
go for that guy. Yeah.
So what about like Agent Smith? Like, well, I guess that's more sci-fi as
What,
well,
Mi-
isn't it?
Mr.
Also,
Anderson?
he's just a computer program. It's hard, you know. I mean, all right, he is intelligent. But,
Anderson.
he's just doing what he thinks is right. He's got a point. Human beings are a virus. You know.
What
point.
about the alien from Alien for action? The Predator for action?
I think
Predator.
we-
I think Predator is pretty good. for
Predator is a
action.
decent baddie. He comes to a planet just to hunt human beings.
Yeah, he does that weird like.
However, I will say this. Again, kind of a product of his environment. He's come from an alien world where this is just what they do. If that's how you've
Not
been
only
raised,
that, I thought I was really disappointed when all Arnie had to do was cover himself in mud to like get around his defense systems. Like,
well, he
I mean,
used
come on.
infrared, didn't he? He just had to
I know.
mask his body temperature.
But I mean, I like, come on, like, have like a little bit of situational awareness. Like, you're in a fucking bog, basically. Like, what else is he gonna do, right? Like,
Okay.
you have to be able to think about this stuff ahead
What
of time.
about Nurse Ratchet?
Nurse Ratchet's a good shout.
Nurse
I think
Ratchet.
we have to put her, from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
a she's a really
Ratchet.
horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
So wait,
What
for
about the
action,
lady from Misery? Would that come under
Oh
horror?
yeah.
God, what was her
It's
name?
not really horror, though, is it? Like, it's not like
It
You're
was.
right. She had a name as well.
Yeah, I can't remember her name
Shit,
from
no, I'm
Misery.
gonna remember this.
Annie Wilkes.
That's
Annie
right.
Wilkes.
Yeah.
It was,
Annie Wilkes.
it was Kathy Bates.
Kat-
wasn't
It
Kathy
was,
Bates,
yeah. In a career-making role.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a
and
great-
it was
a great
James Caan. It was in it as
It
well.
was
right?
James Caan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that was one of the first Stephen King books that I
Man,
fully read.
sci-fi. We didn't even say Caan himself.
From The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah,
It's true.
He was a good baddie.
He
I mean,
was
he
a
was
good
hard
baddie.
done by. I mean, he was just the superior intellect.
Yeah.
And he had, I found out later that was a fake chest. I was devastated. For years, I thought that was
Oh, it
pure...
looked so fake.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Action
On
movies,
rewatch.
though. What about? Well, I don't know if it's Biff from old Back to the
Oh,
Future.
yeah,
Biff
Back to the
Tannen.
Future. Biff
I've got him under
Tannen.
comedy.
Comedy?
Oh, he's got to win
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comedy.
How many fucking categories have you got? Oh,
Shooter,
God.
Eight. You said eight.
Honorable mentions
You
to
fucking
Shooter
said
McGavin
eight.
and Happy
You got different
Gilmore as
categories
well.
to
He was
me.
a good
I even
one, too.
listed them to you at the start. You said, what are the categories? I said sci-fi, horror, fantasy, kids movie, action, superhero, comedy, historical drama. Job done.
Okay,
and you were
fine,
like,
fine.
let's get on with it.
All right, for historical drama, a Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Daniel
yeah.
Day-Lewis played him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a racist, xenophobic piece of shit, and a
Right.
murderer.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Just like Grandpa Joe,
How about
allegedly.
where does Jaws fit in? The shark.
Well, I mean,
an animal.
nature.
It's an animal.
It's like he'd be in the
It's an
Cujo
animal,
category.
right? So
doesn't
he's
know
on the
what he's
animals
doing.
list with Cujo and the alien.
Just doesn't
and
know what
the
he's
spider
doing,
from
but he's
Arachnophobia.
Just swim around eating.
wreaking
That's what a
havoc
shark
out there.
does. They even say they swim in the ocean, they eat, and they make little sharks. That's it, Martin. That's all they do. So it's just an animal doing what an animal does. You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
Norman
Not hating.
Bates from Psycho.
That would be horror.
Yeah, it
and
would.
surely Pinhead is worse. I mean, I was much more scared of.
All right, how about
Yeah,
Anton Chigurh from
Anton
No Country?
Chigurh.
What about
Yeah.
Anton Dubek from Strictly Come Dancing for comedy villains?
Get him in there. I fucking hate him. I'm not even kidding. I'm putting him on that list.
What
I have
about?
put him on the list.
What about? I don't know. I've got. I can't think of any more. That's enough. That's
All right.
enough.
We got
Because we gotta
such a
pare this
huge
down.
list now. Holy
We
shit.
actually have it.
I
All
can't
right, so
fucking
for-
believe Grandpa Joe is on this list, by the way.
He has to be on the list. So we've got sci-fi. We got Palpatine. I think
Sure.
we're all comfortable with Palpatine.
Sure.
Horror. We've got Pinhead, but we could go for someone else if you guys
Nah,
want.
Pinhead's
No,
fine.
Pinhead's fine.
Yeah.
Fantasy. We've gone for Joffrey because we definitely haven't.
Yeah, we
hated a
decided that he
character
was
much.
worse.
He
than
was a
Sauron.
hateful
Yeah,
little piece
he's
of
such
shit.
a
Yeah.
hateful and such a great performance. I fucking hate.
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Grandpa Joe as the bad guy in the kids.
Okay, I want to contest kids, though, because in a category where Cruella DeVille exists, come on. She's worse than Grandpa Joe for sure.
But she's such a parody, like of all this. I mean, we're adults
What about
now.
King Richard from the animated Robin Hood?
I mean, I hate like fucking Jar Jar
Captain
Binks.
Hook.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it has to be what we think are the worst people in these movies. You know, and I
know
think
what I
Grandpa
think it
Joe
is?
is awful.
I think the fact is that those guys wear their villainness on their sleeve. Grandpa Joe seems to be your
He's a
friend.
closet villain.
Yeah, he's actually a villain. It takes an adult mind to look at a kid's movie and think, man, Grandpa Joe fucking sucks.
Right.
And it's only when you
okay.
get older you realize it. I think it's very obvious Cruella DeVille's evil.
Man,
But
Cruella
Grandpa
de
Joe's
Vil,
evil is more insidious and subtle.
Captain Hook. Like
Okay, move on. What's the next
guy
one?
from
Action.
Monsters Inc. You
Action,
know
we've got to decide between three.
Spider
Okay.
Crab Man.
So let's decide.
Hans Gruber, Immortan Joe, or The Predator.
Okay, I'm saying Immortan Joe because this the setting and everything. The movie was just way better than the other two as well.
Oh, better than Die
Can
Hard.
we not have Hannibal Lecter on this list as well? Because
Wait,
Hannibal
which-
Lecter.
He
I mean,
would be
he would
horror.
have to be under horror.
He's not
Yeah.
We
horror.
didn't-
It's not horror.
It
Silence of the
is.
Lambs.
He's like a
It's
psychological horror thriller. It's
And
not
also, can we have
Right.
Anton Chigurh on this list as well? Because he's fucking
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
Who's
All right,
Anton
we'll put-
Chigurh again?
He's the villain from No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah, holy
With the
shit!
cattle-
that guy
the cattle
was
prod
fucking
thing
wild,
that-
eh? Man,
I know.
he was,
that was-
so scary.
Yeah.
What time do you close?
Oh,
Now? About now?
Now is not a time. What time do you close?
Oh, he was so what a great
Don't
movie.
just put it back in
Man,
your
I
pocket.
love the pacing of that
He's
movie.
so
It was
good.
so fucking good.
Yeah. That film is amazing.
It really
like
is.
but it's like it's like the book is amazing, and the job that they did was so good that it's the stuff that they cut what made sense and everything. But the way they told the story, I know some people kind of pissed off with the ending in a way, but it wasn't really about the characters that we thought it was about. Like the push of the story was about the sheriff, not anybody else. He was the main character, really. I mean, the film's even called No Country for Old Men, you know, and he's sort of winding down and thinking, "What the fuck has happened? Everything's gone so crazy." Yeah, what a movie, and it's honestly
it's
so
nuts.
Sorry, so we've gone for Immortan Joe. Especially, he kept a bunch of women imprisoned so that he could have babies with them.
Yeah,
and
and
all
was
of
like
those-
drinking their fucking milk and
Oh,
shit.
fucking!
like-
It's
I
awful.
did love Mad Max as well.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
what a movie.
phenomenal.
What a fucking
There's meant to be
movie.
more, but like, where?
It's
where
coming.
It's
did
gotta
it
be
It's
my
coming.
favorite movie.
It's
of
coming.
Recent
So
years.
for superhero, we've got Thanos, Magneto, and Lex Luthor. I kind of want to take Magneto out for the reasons I stated.
I just think
About him
Magneto's.
actually
I'm
being
more familiar with him. and
can we
he's
also
cool.
put the Joker in there?
Yeah, the
yeah,
Joker
it's just
can
such a
go in
meme,
there, I
but
guess.
sure, I'll put the Joker. Thanos was just the ultimate bad guy. He tried to kill half of all living things.
What
and
is
he was so
Catwoman a good
convinced.
guy or a bad guy?
Who?
Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman.
Catwoman's always
she's-
been kind of nebulous, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
she's bad and good, but mostly good. She's kind of, one of those. She's a kind of Harrison Ford-esque kind of, Indiana Jones kind of good and bad, but mostly good kind of
how
cheeky
is Indiana
bad guy.
Jones bad?
Well, in everything Harrison Ford plays, like Han Solo, he's kind of
wrongfully
like
accused.
kind of
The
a roguish guy, right?
Air
She's
Force
roguish.
One.
Are you sure about this? Name a Harrison Ford role where he was kind of a bad guy. He was like
In Indiana Jones, he literally is a tomb robber.
No, he gives them to museums.
Oh, that belongs in a museum.
in a museum.
Yeah.
So righteous of him. I don't know, like, he just busts in on these fucking places. Like, he doesn't have any, like, special gloves or brushes. He just runs in with a whip and starts breaking stuff. He's not about preserving that history.
I think the gloves and the
fights
brushes are a
Nazis.
lie. Like, this stuff has been around for thousands of years and been manhandled and
it's
weathered
fine.
and stuff. You don't need
Just
a brush
because
or
you
gloves.
fight Nazis doesn't mean you're the ultimate good guy. Anyway,
That's true. Stalin fought Nazis.
let's decide who we're going to have for action then, because you guys want immortality. Oh, sorry,
we've gone
supervillain.
Immortan Joe, yeah. So we've got
Supervillain
Thanos,
is-
Magneto, Lex Luthor, or the Joker.
All right.
I think Thanos is the worst of them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Thanos is just an arbitrary. How can we make this bad guy bad? Oh, he wants to kill half of all living things. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels so generic.
Lex Luthor just wants to fucking make money and cause chaos. Like, what's his deal? The Joker is just insane.
What about
Okay.
Dr. Octopus? No?
I think it's more. I think it's more worse to have someone who's insane though, because they you don't. It's the unpredictable horror nature of they don't have any concept of good anymore. At least Thanos had some twisted reason why he was
did
doing
have
it.
logic. I mean, he was the protagonist of his story. He thought he was doing the right thing.
Although I will say,
But isn't that worse?
I did enjoy the Marvel movies with Thanos in. I thought they were
they were so good. He was
Yeah.
just such a good baddie.
all
I
right.
love that he always, like, whatever they said, he always fucking shot them down. Had some cold logic for why they were wrong.
I've seen Thanos in one of those movies. I think it was Infinity War that we saw
Right,
maybe
sure.
in Seattle, possibly.
Sure.
And he seemed pretty cool. And honestly, I would take him over the Joker any day because, man, the Joker is just so tired and like,
Fucking boring.
All
yeah,
right.
really
Okay, you
boring.
got it. You got it. Fine.
Comedy. It's a toss-up between Biff Tannen and Anton Dubek.
Okay, and what about Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore as well?
I have no idea
You
who that
eat
is. I'll be
pieces of
honest
shit
with
for breakfast? Remember that guy? I eat pieces
No.
of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat shit for
breakfast?
you. No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I've not seen it.
All right. Okay. I mean, Biff Tannen is
He's a really
the
good baddie,
all-star
isn't he?
classic comedy villain, right? Like,
True.
I mean, we got Doctor Evil. Don't forget about him as a comedy villain.
yeah,
He's a
I
good
guess Doctor Evil could
Don't you feel it's also kind of played out? There's something about Biff Tannen.
$1
Make like a tree
million
and get out of
dollars.
one. There's White Goodman from Dodgeball. You seen
Oh
Dodgeball?
yeah,
It's good.
yeah. There's
But Biff Tannen was bad in multiple movies.
He was.
And when he stole the book,
and very memorable as well, right?
yeah, he turned in Die Hard 2, in Back to the Future 2. We have a sort of apocalyptic vision of what Biff Tannen's ideal world would be like, and he knocks around Marty's mum and his horrible tour and stuff like that. And he tried to force himself upon her in the first film.
That's
I think
true.
He's a real bad guy.
Yeah, scum.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Biff on there.
Biff Tannen.
Worse
Sure.
than Anton Dubek, and this is a close call because I fucking
What
hate
about
Anton
Harry
Dubek.
and Marv from Home Alone?
Oh yeah, Harry and Marv from Home Alone is
Too
a
bumbling.
good shout. And what about Kevin's brother as well?
Too bumbling.
When he eats the
Too
last
bumbling.
piece of pizza. What's his name again? What's
right.
Kevin McAllister's
It's
brother's
going to be
name?
like Chut or something like that.
Chuck or like Buzz or something? It's Buzz, I
or
think.
something like that.
What about the guy from Office Space?
Buzz McAllister.
Buzz
What about
McAllister.
What?
Bill
Yeah.
Lumberg
I
from
need you to
Office.
come in Saturday.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and
Those TPS reports.
ask you to come in on Saturday.
Oh, and also gonna have to ask you to come in on Sunday too.
Bill
gotta
Lumberg.
catch up
Yeah,
on
he
this.
was a good
Bill
comedy
Lumberg.
villain as well.
He was.
Relatable
I did
too,
like-
right?
I did like Bill Lumberg, yeah, because we've all had a boss. Who
Man,
was like
we've
that.
all had a Lumberg.
We have. We haven't all had a Tannen.
No,
Ooh,
true.
So are we going to say Tannen because he was more of a bastard? Lumberg was just a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
Or Lumberg because he was more relatable.
Lumberg was a bit of a fucking doofus, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with what we've got.
Lumberg?
Biff? What's the next one?
I'm going to go with Biff. The next one is tricky. We got John Doe from Seven. That was Kevin Spacey's character in Seven.
Right.
The drum teacher from Whiplash. Hans Lander. Nurse Ratched. Annie Wilkes from Misery. Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York. And Anton Chigurh.
And what's his face from Blue Velvet?
In.
What's the guy's name from Blue Velvet again?
I can't remember, but he was Mommy.
Yeah, he was
good.
fucking insane, right? And the guy with no eyebrows from Lost Highway has to be in there too. He was really creepy
right,
too.
but we have to pick one.
Oh, but
so
what
we
about
can't.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Django Unchained?
Oh man,
Django?
yeah, he was
Calvin
so bad.
Candy. He was called.
Yeah, that was a great
yeah.
movie, wasn't it? Holy crap!
Yeah, shit.
I really like old No Country for Old Men, Anton Chigurh for this, and the drum teacher from Whiplash. Those would be
I
my,
like the
my
drum
top
teacher
two.
from Whiplash. He was.
I'm going to take Bill the Butcher, Annie Wilkes, and Nurse Ratched and Hans Lander out.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take Calvin Candy out.
right.
I'm going to take John Doe from Seven out,
Right.
leaving us with two. The drum teacher
What about
from Whiplash and
Kaiser
Anton Chigurh.
Soze? What about Kaiser Soze?
Kaiser Soze! Well, problem is, we never really know who Kaiser Soze is.
Yeah, and
we
also
don't know.
it's just I guess
But I
because
think
Kevin
anyone
Spacey
played
is
by Kevin
fucking
Spacey, yeah,
super
extra
canceled.
evil now as well.
Because we could have put
Yeah.
Frank in there as well. Frank from House of Cards. The guy. What's his name again? Ah, fuck.
Frank.
Who cares? The
Frank Cards.
No, yeah, the guy, the main character.
I know who you
before he
mean.
was
Yeah,
canceled.
I can't remember.
But he was really good in that. But
I mean, Anton Chigurh is a genuine murderous psychopath.
terrifying.
And really scary because he again, like Thanos,
Relentless.
uses this
He's like the
cold logic.
T-1000 in his own way.
Yeah.
Like,
But he also breaks you mentally
Yeah.
before he kills you.
yeah.
If the rule is what brought you here, of what use was the rule? Like he asks you, it's like fuck,
Yeah, he
he's
fucks
right.
with your mind big time before
Yeah,
he
he
just.
does. I want to say Anton, and there's no reasoning with him. There's nothing, and he's so good at it.
Yeah. Okay,
He's
yeah. Let's go.
terrifying.
Like, as terrifying as the drum teacher from Whiplash was,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Anton Chigurh is more dangerous. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
hap-
he's
I'm
gonna
glad
kill
made
you.
that
Yeah, he will
I hate him.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, lads. This is the list. Okay, we got Palpatine, Pinhead, Joffrey, Grandpa Joe, Immortan Joe, Thanos, Biff Tannen, and Anton Chigurh. So
Right, let's start with the Battle of
I'm
the
gonna divvy
Joes.
this up.
Okay.
I was gonna say Grandpa Joe versus Immortan Joe.
Okay.
Oh my
Who's
God,
worse?
man.
I think Immortan Joe is probably worse, just because of the keeping the pregnant women around.
Man,
and-
agree.
I just have not been on board for the whole Grandpa Joe thing. I
Okay,
get it,
yeah.
but I just
Okay.
think there's I
It's
think
time for him to
there's
go.
badder apples out there, you know.
yeah.
All right, I agree. So we got Palpatine versus Pinhead.
Right.
Wow,
Wow.
this is an
quite a
interesting
clash.
one. Like, I would say Palpatine because of his ability to channel the Force, and he controls an empire and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's no fucking around with a minion of hell. You know, like it's
Yeah,
got to be
that's
the
the
ultimate,
problem.
really. Like,
You're
I mean, because
right.
That's where I'm struggling.
Palpatine is mortal. He will die at some point, and he will go to hell. Which, if we're in this universe where Pinhead is real, hell is real, Palpatine will end up there.
Well,
And Pinhead will be the one sticking pins in his head.
But he could just be an evil Force ghost forever. You know, he could ghost around. He's got a lot of powers, old Palpy. You know,
He does.
He's a
But you've got to
badass.
figure at some point they have to go away. Otherwise, it's essentially a terrible punishment being a Force ghost. Because you will be around until the heat death of the universe, and when it all just splits apart, and you're just floating around thinking, "What was this all for?" There must become a point
think how
where you
many
die.
things you could get done though in all that time. You could like get through. You know, you could complete all the achievements.
You can't. There's nothing to achieve. You're done. It's all gone.
Oh, right, at the end of the heat death of the universe.
Yeah.
Well, what you said, there's going to be nothing except a Force ghost of Palpatine. There'll be
Floating
other
about
Force
in
ghosts
space.
around of all the other bad guys they'll be able to hang out
But they
with.
will have been pulled apart by the immutable laws of the expansion of the universe.
Is that the true hell?
Well, exactly. But at least he's just alone.
Are you saying that in order to continue, you're going to have to go into some sub-universe like hell, which is continuing on after the heat death of the universe?
I'm saying this.
Where is
that
hell located?
Hell has to be infinite. It's a different dimension. It's a different dimension.
Right,
Right.
okay.
Clearly.
Sure.
So if we're saying Palpatine in either universe right? Either the one where he lives forever as a Force ghost and there is no hell, that's bad, right? But if Pinhead is around, not only does he live forever, he's also in hell. So it's like floating around in the universe with nothing happening, floating around in hell with all the worst things imaginable.
I think
happening.
people get the better of Pinhead a lot, though, right? Like they find
only
ways...
when he comes out of hell, like, and they need to have that special cube and shit.
Yeah, he has to
I'm
come out
saying-
and drink blood and stuff, right?
No, he's not the blood drinker.
Oh, right.
It's a different. Anyway, yeah, but Pinhead just likes to enjoy suffering and torturing. He's one of the Cenobites. They come around and do hell stuff.
I mean, they
saying
both were
Palpatine would have a
people, though.
bad time.
Pinhead was once a British captain, Elliot Spencer. Like they did come from humanity.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
did.
Wait,
Both of
Pinhead
them.
was a sailor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The HMS Pinafore.
Very good.
Oh.
What do you think, Sips? I'm going Palp. Obviously, Pyrian is going Pinhead. What's your...
I'm going to... do you know what? It's got to be Palp for me every time
Okay,
on this
Palp
one.
it is. Palp it
As
is.
terrifying as Pinhead is, I just think Palpatine's got the edge, you know?
Okay, so
Okay.
now we've got a tough one. Joffrey versus Thanos.
Right. Well,
Oh
best
man!
move, best
Okay,
villain.
if it was a contest and who was the bigger cunt, well, I would say Joffrey wins that one hands down.
I hated him.
I
actually
hated him
liked
so
Thanos.
much.
Thanos
Oh.
was so cool.
We
but,
really did. We
I
hated
fucking
him.
hated Joffrey, man. I couldn't stand him. The poor actor had to fucking retire from acting. I think he had enough of it.
He had
I'd
so
say-
much hate.
I would say
You're
Joffrey
right.
He's like
wins
so
this
tight.
easily.
He's become the new Joey from Friends, right? Like you'll only know him as Joffrey.
I
Baratheon.
think people were just calling him a cunt in the street. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think they were, yeah. So I'm going to say Joffrey.
Awful for him. And I didn't
no,
even
poor guy.
think Thanos was that bad. Like I spent a lot of the movies thinking, I feel bad for these
he's
guys beating him up.
misunderstood. He
And
always
there's, like,
seems so
There's that
glum
whole
as well.
bit
eh?
where he like retires and he's like living on a farm, and then someone comes
He's
and like
"Fine,
fights
I
him
didn't
again.
want to split the world in
Yeah.
half anyway, guys. Just
He has to
gonna go kick-
He has to kill his adopted daughter.
He's
He
such a
just, like, he
fucking.
just spends like the whole movie like kicking an empty can down the street.
He's like,
and, like, looking
oh,
glum.
right, I guess I'm gonna do bad things.
Oh.
All right, so Joffrey it is. Then
Yeah,
we got,
I think it's
sure.
got to be Joffrey here.
and this is a tough one. It shouldn't be. Biff Tannen versus Anton Chigurh.
Oh no! These were my two. I wanted these two in the final.
I know, but
Oh, I
it's
can't
tough.
believe it.
Well, look,
Oh,
obviously,
I can't believe it.
I really hated Biff. He really gets your
He grinds your
he
gears
gets-
hard, eh?
He gets
Like,
into your like. You just hate him in those movies, and it's so good to
he's
see him.
such a meathead.
get
like,
his,
he's
like, Yeah, it's so
I
good to
imagine
see
that's
him.
what
Like,
Trump was like when he was younger. You know?
oh my
Like,
god,
Yeah.
you're right.
Such a fucking meathead.
Just a bullying, egotistical
Piece of
shit.
shithead, piece of garbage.
What are you looking at, butthead?
But
Like, just
Anton Chigurh is a legitimately terrifying sociopathic serial
And
killer
multiple murderer.
yeah, yes. Let's
who I
not
want
forget.
to see more of. Like, and he
Yeah,
kind
I
of
know.
just
And his
makes the
instrument
movie.
of destruction is like a fucking air-powered cow-killing rifle. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking wild.
It is horrific.
I-
Yeah.
So,
it's-
are we gonna
for
go
me,
with
it's-
Anton?
Yeah, I'm leaning Anton here.
All right.
I love Biff, but man, it's got to
Okay.
be Anton for me.
So now, all right, we've got four
Biff
left.
is at least redeemable, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. And eventually, of course, in the original movie, becomes kind of placated and sort of, I put two coats of wax in it for you, Marty. You know,
Yeah. He
kind of
becomes
a
like their
schmuck.
butler or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like their
All right,
toad.
so now we've got Immortan Joe versus Palpatine.
Oh, yeah, like two
Oh,
wrinkly
man.
sort of people who are alive
Yeah,
longer
two
than they
dudes
should.
who are like on or very close to needing some form of life support, right? Because they're so old.
I mean, Immortan Joe has to wear that fucking thing.
Oh, I know, all the time.
And the
He's gotta
Force is the
sleep
only
with that
thing that
shit.
seems to keep Palpatine alive.
Yeah.
Um, And
and his
you know,
lust for politics as well. His
Yeah.
passion for
love
the Senate.
politics.
I mean, Immortan Joe's sort of taken advantage of this sort of terrible apocalypse to have this awful,
Keep the water from all those
awful,
people.
evil empire
Yeah.
raiding, and
Yeah.
and obviously, whereas Palp is more he's corrupting an entire galaxy.
He is, but I think with Palpatine, he's always had the Force, and so all he's really had to do to get to the place that he's at is use the Force and do lots of like behind the scenes backstabbing, gentle manipulations and stuff to get to where he is. Whereas I think Immortan Joe's rise to power was probably a lot more difficult. You know, like I think you gotta hand it to him.
Let me make one point about that. Immortan Joe's rise to power depended entirely upon something happening that was out of his control. The end of the world, the apocalypse, whether it was nuclear war or a climate crisis or whatever.
Yeah.
Immortan Joe rose to power because he was one of the assholes that happened to be around right time, right place.
Sure.
Palpatine crafted this for himself.
I know, but the environment that Immortan Joe exists in is a much harsher one than the galaxy that Palpatine knows,
but
right?
That also means there's less resistance.
Yeah,
I
suppose.
For Palpatine, he's had to battle his way through rebel fleets, the fucking Senate, all this shit, and fucking Jedi's coming out of the woodwork trying to do him in. He's had quite a tough decades-long rise.
I mean, is Immortan
Joe? Well done.
Big ups to Palpatine on this episode. Actually,
is Immortan Joe just a milk-loving skull fetishist kind of like? Do you know what I mean? Is he just a pervy?
He's a milk drinker.
A pervy edgelord. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, are we?
Also, he's only in one film, and he's not really in it much.
Sure, that's true.
But I mean,
Palpatine is a consistent bad
He's got
guy.
a sweet fucking ride, though. Like
he does.
Can I just let you know that Immortan Joe's third son, his name is Scabrous Scrotus.
I mean, Palpatine has like the Excelsior class Star Destroyer, which is fucking awesome as well.
Yeah,
like, if we're talking about sweet rides, like
yeah,
he has got.
I want to go. I'm leaning Palp on this one.
Yeah,
you know I'm afraid so. Me too.
It's got to be Palpatine on this one.
So as much as Immortan Joe is nauseating and awful and great,
we're saying Palp is worse because I'm sure all the bad shit that Immortan Joe does is happening on countless worlds under Palp's rule.
Yeah,
and
true.
He's fucking all over it, and he's got the he killed a bunch of those kids.
I mean, he created the Star Destroyer. Let's not forget,
and the fucking Death Star blew up a planet.
Sorry, that's what I meant. The Death Star.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
then we've got Joffrey versus Anton Chigurh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Anton Dubek there. I was going to say, gosh, this is a tough one. Actually, this one isn't a tough one. I think
in terms of who I hated more, for me, it's Joffrey.
Yeah, but in terms of who,
detestable
in an actual fight, I mean, Joffrey is a punk ass bitch, right? Like,
yeah, but that's what makes me hate him.
Yeah,
there's no respect there. I despise him. He's a weak piece of shit who takes advantage of his position to be awful to people. Loves it. He's a sadistic, horrible. And he's so fucking. He just looks a cunt as well. If you look at him, he's fucking detestable.
I know.
So my vote is Joffrey, but it's up to you boys.
I think
I cannot live with myself knowing that Joffrey has won something though, and for that reason, I'm gonna go with Anton Chigurh on this.
Are we saying that Joffrey can't win this greatest villain of all time because that would just be too? That would just be he'd be too smug about it.
He would,
You reckon he would relish that? I think you might be right.
He would still be all bloated, purple-faced in hell, laughing at us for voting him, right?
Okay. Yeah, fuck Joffrey. In fact, out of spite, I'm voting against Joffrey. I'm gonna just to delete his name.
We hate him
from
so
my
much that
notepad.
we don't want him to win the competition.
Yeah, but then again,
tell you
it was
how
the
much we hate
ultimate
Joffrey.
betrayal for us. Game of Thrones turned out to be so awfully punishing, and was ruined in our minds. It was such a villainous piece of work in general.
It was, so many of the characters in that show were utterly hateful. Like,
they really were.
They were awful to each other, awful within
Anton
themselves.
Chigurh, he only killed like 3 guys. I mean,
he killed. Let me think. He killed the guy he killed the desk clerk deputy at the start.
Yeah.
Killed the guy on the highway. Killed the guy with the truck full of chickens.
Sure. Yes, he killed the chicken truck guy. Yeah.
He killed 3 Mexicans in the motel. He killed the 2 Mexican drug baron guys.
Yeah.
He killed the guy who was also in Office Space in his office. He killed the desk clerk at the hotel.
But he didn't kill the gas station guy who correctly guessed the coin flip. right?
Yeah, but
Did
that
he?
makes him scarier.
That makes
it
him
was
scary
just a
because,
coin
like, you
flip.
just don't know. Like, imagine being the survivor. Like, this guy just went on like a multi-day murder rampage.
But the thing is, Joffrey
You
would
find
do the
out about
same,
it
wouldn't
after
he?
the fact that the only way you got out of it was because you guessed the coin flip.
Joffrey
Yeah.
probably would have killed people on a coin flip in the same way, right?
He
Yeah,
probably
but in a
would've,
different way. I think for Anton, his whole point is this is all just fate. Like I'm just flipping a coin, and that's why he says, "Call it." What do I didn't put nothing up. What do I stand to win? Everything. Stand to win everything. Call it.
Come on, let's just get this over with. It's definitely Anton
your impression
Chigurh, right?
is so fucking good.
It's
people.
too good.
I
It's too
love
good.
it. All right, sure.
So we're gonna go
gets through.
Palp versus Anton.
I'm gonna have to fucking watch No Country for Old Men tonight, just after listening to you do that impression again. Oh my god,
man, so good.
So what's that mean? The final is Palpatine
It's Palp versus Anton.
Anton.
Chigurh, not too bad.
Anton Chigurh, best movie villain of all time. Best
I mean, I
villain.
think he's so fascinating and so dark and such a brilliant performance.
Yeah,
I love it. Palpatine is almost comical at times.
Yeah,
and we have to add the prequel trilogy. where he
yeah.
was fucking cartwheeling around
Palpatine to
like a
me
twat.
has like some Skeletor qualities. Honestly, like
he does have skeletal
yo,
bodies.
bumbling boobs. Like it's
It's stupid.
Oh my
God.
I'm
He's
gonna
right.
go with Anton. I'm gonna go with Anton.
I'm going to
Chigurh.
Anton here as well.
Honestly,
Like, for
we
sure.
have to.
He's the best.
After you're absolutely spot on, like line for line remembering of that movie and bringing it back so vividly to me.
Anton, it is. Okay.
Anton Chigurh,
Anton
there you
Chigurh
go.
wins.
And the top recommendation,
Anton
if
Chigurh
you've not seen
wins.
the movie, you're missing out. 'Cause it's a good
Yeah.
one.
It's such a good film.
Yeah.
He's such a good character. And just endlessly fascinating. We'd love to see an Anton Chigurh spin-off series. It would be shit, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, we'd love to see him kill more people with that stun rod or whatever he uses.
Yeah. The cattle gun.
Holy shit, that was a bonus Triforce episode.
Man, what an episode! I enjoyed that a lot. Actually, the toing and froing was fantastic.
It was tough.
It was
really,
a very,
decisions.
really good
very
one.
well.
We all fought our corners well. Everybody had a case and put it, and we listened.
And I think
yeah.
I think we should be happy where we ended up. All right, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.